Not so long ago, the older people we support were known as care recipients. These days, they're known as consumers. And when it comes to consumers and what they want from their aged care providers, they're now very much in control of their own destiny. It's all part of the Aged Care Quality Standards, with a greater emphasis on quality, safety and choice to ensure improved outcomes for consumers.
Hi, how can I help you?
Hi, I'm Jonathan Clark and this is Bess Sheehan. We're from the Aged Care Quality and Safety Commission. Could we see the person in charge, please?
Of course, I'll just call our manager. Won't be too long. If you could just sign in, please. Is this one of the unannounced reaccreditation site audits?
Yes, that's right.
The Aged Care Quality and Safety Commission is an Australian government body. Its role is to protect and enhance the safety, health, well-being and quality of life of people receiving aged care.
Okay, right, they're there now. Good. Sign them in and I'll be down shortly. Thanks, Kelly. A couple of assessors from the Aged Care Quality and Safety Commission are in reception. I'll go and meet them now.
Okay, and I'll see you in the meeting room.
Great, thanks, Jamie.
The Aged Care Quality and Safety Commission independently accredits residential aged care services, conducts quality reviews of home services, and monitors compliance against the aged care quality standards. The system is designed to ensure high quality care, services and outcomes for consumers at all times.
Good morning. I'm Barbara. I'm the General Manager and the person in charge here.
I'm Jonathan Clark and this is my colleague Bess Sheehan. We're from the Aged Care Quality and Safety Commission and we're here to undertake your reaccreditation audit.
As quality assessors, we have certain powers under Part 8 of the Aged Care Quality and Safety Commission Act in relation to this visit. These powers cover our entry to the premises and access to documents and information. We're seeking your consent to enter the premises. You can refuse our entry or withdraw consent at any time. In saying that, I must also remind you about your responsibility under the Aged Care Act to cooperate with a person exercising powers under Part 8 of the Commission Act. Do we have your consent to enter the premises?
Of course. Let's go to a meeting room to discuss the audit.
The Aged Care Quality Standards are a framework to ensure better quality and safety. It's been designed to protect consumers by focusing on consumer outcomes, give consumers and their families or carers a clear understanding of what to expect from their service provider, simplify regulations for service providers who offer more than one type of service, and promote high quality, innovative services and continuous improvement.
So the standards apply to all care services. So that includes residential care, home care, flexible care, and the Commonwealth Home Support Program. And the standards that apply depend on what kind of services they provide, and that can be different from organisation to organisation. Staff, all the way from governing bodies through to the frontline workforce, they all have a role to play. Each one has a different way to contribute to understanding of the standards and what it means to them in their job, as well as how to improve their service. The guidance material has been prepared for providers to help them understand the standards, as well as the requirements that sit under each standard. It explains the intent behind the standards, examples of how you might go about complying with the requirements, the kinds of evidence that we might look for to see that you're complying. There's also legislation and resources for further information, as well as case studies. The guidance material is not a legal document. It doesn't form part of the quality standards, but it is there to help providers understand the standards and to help them comply. The reflective questions are there to actually help you as a service provider think about the kind of services you provide and check yourself against the standards and the requirements to see how you're tracking. The assessors will be looking to see that the standard and requirements are understood in the service, that they're being applied in practice, and that the service monitors their own performance, and that there's a process for continuous improvement.
There are 8 aged care quality standards. Each standard has a consumer outcome, a statement that reflects the expectation of the organisation, and the requirements the organisation must demonstrate to prove that the standard has been met. Standard 1 is consumer dignity and choice.
I am treated with dignity and respect. I can maintain my identity. I can make informed choices about my care and services and live the life I choose.
Standard 1 is a foundation standard. It reflects 7 important concepts: dignity and respect, identity, culture and diversity, cultural safety, choice, dignity of risk, information, and personal privacy. These concepts recognise the importance of a consumer's sense of self and are essential in fostering social inclusion, health and well-being.
Would you like to take a look at today's lunch menu?
My pleasure, thank you very much. I really feel like something vegetarian today. I can see eggplants. My nonna favorites, melanzane ripiene.
Oh, I like it too. Did you used to cook it with your nonna?
Quando ero un ragazzino in Puglia cucinavamo sempre insieme, io e mia nonna. E lei coltivava le sue melanzane, pomodori, nel suo orto, tutto.
Oh, lovely. Suona meraviglioso. Cos'altro ti è piaciuto cucinare con lei?
I dolci, i dolci. Lei preparava dei dolci meravigliosi, gli sporcamus. Delle torte meravigliose.
Sì. Buonissimo, no?
Fantastico.
Mi piace, sì. Have an idea. Forse potremmo chiedere a chef se riuscirà a farlo per te un giorno. Va bene?
Perché non andiamo a dirlo adesso?
Standard 2 is ongoing assessment and planning with consumers.
I'm a partner in ongoing assessment and planning that helps me get the care and services I need for my health and well-being.
For Standard 2, organisations need to plan care and services in partnership with the consumer that meet each individual's needs, goals and preferences and optimise their health and well-being. This includes advanced care planning. Regular reviews should be conducted in order to respond to the consumer's changing needs and support them to live their day-to-day lives with dignity.
So Frank, you mentioned that you wanted to increase the number of days that we visit.
Yes, I just don't feel that I'm able to manage on my own as well anymore.
So what days would you like us to come?
Mondays are good. I'd like a little help on Wednesdays as well too.
All right. Was that the day you wanted a little bit of extra help with your shopping?
Yes, that would be great. I'm just finding it a little bit hard on my own now, so a little more help would be lovely.
All right, well, we'll make sure you get the help you need, okay?
Oh, well, thank you.
I must say the garden's looking lovely.
Standard 3 is personal care and clinical care.
I get personal care, clinical care, or both personal care and clinical care that is safe and right for me.
For Standard 3, organisations must demonstrate best practice through the delivery of safe, effective and quality personal and clinical care. This includes effectively managing and minimising risks that are high impact, high prevalence or infection related. Organisations must also ensure timely and appropriate referrals and deliver safe and effective personal and clinical care that is tailored to the consumer's needs and optimises their health and well-being.
Oh, this leg is really bothering me.
Okay. Oh, yes. It's very slow to heal, isn't it? There's a new product that's just come out and it may help. Now, the research on it's very good. Should we give it a try?
Oh, yes. I'll try anything that could help.
Okay. Right.
Standard 4 is services and supports for daily living.
I get the services and supports for daily living that are important for my health and well-being and that enable me to do the things I want to do.
Standard 4 covers a wide range of options that aim to support consumers to live as independently as possible and enjoy their lives. It includes things like the quantity and quality of food, emotional, spiritual and psychological well-being, social and personal relationships, safe, clean and well-maintained equipment, domestic assistance, home maintenance, and transport. The standard is also about making sure that consumers feel socially connected, can have relationships they choose, control over their lives, privacy, and are able to contribute.
Just the usual, Bill?
Yes, thanks, Joey, and peppermint tea for my daughter. We're off to the art gallery today. Actually, you better make mine a double shot.
Oh, I see. Must be a busy day for you then.
Standard 5 is the organisation's service environment.
I feel I belong and I am safe and comfortable in the organization's service environment.
Standard 5 applies to the physical service environment through which care and services are delivered, but this does not include an individual's private home, where in-home services are provided. The environment, as well as the furniture and equipment used, must be safe, comfortable, and promote the consumer's independence, ability and enjoyment. The design, accessibility and layout of the service environment should encourage a sense of belonging for consumers and enable them to move freely both indoors and outdoors.
Come in.
Hi, Stella.
Hi.
How are you today?
Lovely, thank you. My daughter and my granddaughter are coming to see me. And they're bringing their new puppy.
Oh, how nice. You must be so excited.
Oh, I'm very excited.
What's the name of the puppy?
Oh, the puppy's name is Charlie.
Standard 6 is feedback and complaints.
I feel safe and am encouraged and supported to give feedback and make complaints. I am engaged in processes to address my feedback and complaints, and appropriate action is taken.
For Standard 6, the organisation should encourage and support consumers, carers, families and others to provide feedback and make complaints. Consumers should be made aware and have access to the advocacy and language services available to them. The system for resolving complaints must be accessible, confidential, prompt and fair. And when things go wrong, an open disclosure process must be used. Feedback and complaints should inform how the organisation improves the delivery of care and services.
Hi Andrew, it's Jill from Sunshine Care. I'm sorry Liz was unwell again. I'm just calling to make sure everything went okay with Megan filling in today.
Yeah, it was fine. Look, I don't want to complain, but she was a bit late and we nearly missed my appointment this morning.
Thank you for telling me, Andrew. I'll speak to Megan. And please feel free to let us know your concerns as soon as possible. That way we can get on top of any issues before they escalate.
Okay. Thanks for that, Jill.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Standard 7 is human resources.
I get quality care and services when I need them from people who are knowledgeable, capable and caring.
The standard reflects 4 key workforce concepts: sufficiency, attributes, attitude and performance, organisational support, and assessment, monitoring and review. Standard 7 supports all of the other quality standards by ensuring that an organisation's workforce is adequately skilled and qualified to deliver safe, respectful and quality care and services to consumers.
I've got your medication here for you. Is it okay if Julie observes today? She's assessing me on my medications round.
Yes, of course.
How are you today? Are you in any pain?
I had a bit of pain in my knee this morning. It wasn't too bad, but maybe about a 4 out of 10.
A 4 out of 10, that's not too good. Here you go.
So what's this again?
This is paracetamol. It'll help keep the pain under control.
Thanks, Sebastian. That should do the trick.
You are very welcome. Right, now I'll come back a little bit later just to check that the paracetamol has worked. All right.
Standard 8 is organisational governance.
I am confident the organisation is well run. I can partner in improving the delivery of care and services.
To meet Standard 8, the organisation's governing body must be accountable for the delivery of safe, quality care and services. Effective organisation-wide governance systems should be in place. This includes risk management, the ability to identify and respond to instances of abuse or neglect, minimising the use of restraints, open disclosure and antimicrobial stewardship. Consumers should be invited to provide input in the development, delivery and evaluation of care and services to ensure that they enjoy a quality experience.
We received a number of feedback forms regarding the new policy preventing visitors from bringing in food from outside the facility. Some of the residents have indicated they feel their rights are diminished because of this, and family members are disappointed that they can't contribute to the well-being of their loved ones.
Well, the sharing and receiving of food is so meaningful to them.
It's a difficult one. Diet restrictions and choking risks are a real concern. But since the policy came in, it's had a big impact on the well-being of the residents, much greater than we anticipated.
Then let's find a way to lift the ban and implement a risk management process to protect those at risk, but still support those to enjoy food that's meaningful to them.
Good idea, yeah. We'll need to provide some education to visitors on food safety and storage, and we'll need to support our staff to help work with visitors when food is brought in.
The standards themselves are consumer focused. If you read each one of them, you'll see that the consumer is at the heart of the standard. And when you think about your own practice, you've got to think to yourself, is the consumer at the heart of our own practice?
Residential care services are accredited by the Aged Care Quality and Safety Commission. This is usually for periods of up to 3 years. About 7 months before their accreditation period ends, they receive a reminder notice advising them to apply for re-accreditation.
When a service provider applies for re-accreditation, they also need to submit a self-assessment. The self-assessment tool demonstrates how they believe they meet the 8 aged care quality standards.
Providers can use a self-assessment template. They may have their own one that they already use. We also supply a template on our website that could be used as well, just to help you along. And as long as you show that you reflected upon your own performance and demonstrated that you've understood the standards and where you're at, then that's what we need. Unannounced site audits are there to ensure that when we see a service, we see it like it is every day of the year.
When a site audit is being planned, the service provider is provided with a notice and a poster. This will inform consumers and their nominated representatives that a site audit is going to occur. We also provide information to providers about how to contact the Commission should a consumer or their representative wish to make contact with us prior to the site audit commencing. Re-accreditation audits occur unannounced across residential aged care services. This ensures that quality standards are maintained at all times across all services and provides us with greater confidence that aged care is being delivered at a high standard.
Okay, well, the purpose of the audit is to assess your service's performance against the aged care quality standards. We're going to be on site here for the next 3 days speaking with consumers and their representatives, as well as staff, including yourselves. As part of our planning, we have considered the self-assessment information that you've provided as part of your application for re-accreditation.
We'll be interviewing at least 10% of consumers or their representatives to understand their experience of care. We'll also be able to speak with any consumers or their representatives who have already advised you that they'd like to meet with us. Regarding the interviews with staff, We'll be considering work practices and the service environment. We will also undertake structured observations of care, and we'll also be considering your systems, processes and documentation.
That all sounds fine. We're happy to direct you where you need to go. Where would you like to start?
Thanks, Barbara. Could we start by interviewing some of your consumers this morning?
Okay. Well, the first thing I'll need to do is inform our residents and their representatives that you'll be here for the next 3 days and let them know what you'll be doing. I can do that right away. And Jane, would you mind checking to see if any of our residents have already requested interviews?
Absolutely. And we'll also let you know if we receive any further requests.
Thanks so much.
And just to let you know, we will meet with you at the end of each day to provide an update on our progress. At the end of the audit, we'll provide feedback on key issues. This will reflect any matters that we raise with you during the course of the next 3 days.
Well, that all sounds fine. If there's anything you need while you're here, please let us know.
Shall we get started then?
Okay.
Hello, I'm Beth Sheehan from the Aged Care Quality and Safety Commission. Would you mind if I asked you some questions about what it's like to live here?
Oh, that's okay.
What do you think about the food here? Do you like what's on the menu?
It's really great. I'm really happy with the choices available.
And what do you think of the serving sizes?
Well, the serving sizes are quite generous. There is always enough food on my plate for me to eat.
What are some of your favourites?
Well, mostly Italian. I eat a bit of everything.
Okay. So how would you describe the cleanliness here?
Oh, it's really quite good now.
Well, actually, we did have a problem with Dad's bathroom a few months ago, so I did make a complaint to the manager. But to their credit, they did get onto it straight away, and it's been fantastic ever since.
Can you give me a few more details?
Yes, well, Dad's drain was blocking up.
Staff will be interviewed during an assessment by the Aged Care Quality and Safety Commission. It can be helpful to prepare for these interviews, as assessors may ask a range of questions about any of the applicable standards.
What happens when you recognise areas of risk to the health, safety and well-being of consumers?
Well, with any risks, they're communicated immediately to the appropriate staff members so we can make the necessary improvements.
Can you give me an example of that?
Yes. The staff reported that after showering the resident that the water wasn't draining properly out of the shower. This was clearly a hazard. The immediate control measure was to mop up the floor so the resident could still use the bathroom. However, we realised that it wasn't just a shower drainage problem, but an issue with the flooring. So we spoke to the resident as well as her family, and we were able to move her to another room so she could still enjoy her private bathroom.
That's great. And how do you communicate the findings of a risk assessment?
If it's urgent, we communicate verbally straight away to the appropriate person to ensure that it is rectified promptly. Then we follow it up in writing. If the risk isn't urgent, we complete a hazard form and follow it up with our Health and Safety Committee. We use our risk management assessments to help us with this process. There's also a strong link to our continuous improvement plan. Can I show this to you so I can give you a specific example?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so these are our seasonal menu plans, and they're really popular, yeah.
Can you tell me about these?
Yeah, well, they're based on feedback we receive from our monthly resident food meetings. These meetings are useful as the residents like contributing ideas and providing feedback, and that's what keeps our menu updated and fresh, yeah.
That's great. Let's talk about staff training now. When was the last time you had training?
Yeah, probably about 3 weeks ago now. It was a refresher course on food safety. I can't tell you the exact date on top of my head, but I do keep the records here, right here in my folder.
Oh, fantastic.
So Barbara, just to give you an update of where we're at, we've done interviews with some consumers, family members and staff.
We've also been observing staff practice, and they've been very willing to tell us what they do here and how they work with consumers to support them.
That's great.
Can we now have a bit of a chat and have a look at your documentation on how your professional development and training programs are planned, implemented and evaluated?
Sure.
And then we'll look at how your staff are supported to carry out their roles.
There's a different assessment process for home services called a quality review. Quality reviews take place every 1 to 3 years. Arrangements for the visit are usually discussed on the phone, including plans for interviews and the documentation that will be required. However, the Aged Care Quality and Safety Commission may complete a quality review without notice if they think that the service is not meeting the standards.
Hello, Max speaking. Yes? Oh, yes. Yeah, that sounds good.
Home service providers are notified in writing of the dates of the planned site visit. They are also provided with information to tell consumers and their nominated representatives about the visit.
Look, we look forward to seeing you on the 5th. Thanks so much. Bye.
The service provider will be required to provide a self-assessment to the assessors during the quality review. They may wish to use the self-assessment template provided by the Commission. Self-assessment is usually carried out by management teams, but it should also involve staff, consumers and their representatives.
We all have a role to play in the self-assessment process, and including our clients and their families is really important in this process. For one thing, it enables us to review our effectiveness, but we can also identify where we might have gaps.
And communicating the outcomes to everyone at Sunshine Care enables us to make improvements to our services.
Well, that's right, Jill. So on the 5th, we'll expect a visit from the Aged Care Quality and Safety Commission. We'll need to demonstrate that we understand our obligations and monitor how we deliver them and what that means for the consumers in terms of outcomes. And I can't emphasise enough the importance of continuous improvement.
We also need to show how we can modify our care and services to meet the changing needs.
Oh, it's a bit nicer in here.
Yeah. All right, let's get these groceries into the kitchen. Would you like some help unpacking?
Oh, sounds like a plan. By the way, I just can't tell you how useful it's been adding an extra day to my service. It's been so handy getting some help with the shopping.
Great, I'm so pleased.
The home service provider must take reasonable steps to tell consumers and their nominated representatives about the site visit for the quality review. Home care consumers and their representatives are also able to contact the Commission prior to the quality review to provide feedback on their experience of the care and services they receive. Consumers will also be given the opportunity to speak to assessors. Assessors may also seek to contact consumers or their representatives during a quality review.
Right. Well, that's good to hear. And tell me, have you ever had any problems with your home care service?
Well,
one day they were quite late, but they were very apologetic. They explained what went wrong. And it hasn't happened again.
Okay. And tell me, are you satisfied with the services they provide?
I'm very happy with the service. It's been marvellous.
All right. It's always a good thing to hear. Okay, can you give me an example of how you support consumers to have choice and control?
Yes, absolutely. So we always ask our clients what their goals are and what matters to them, so we can tailor our services to ensure that we are meeting their needs and supporting them to live the life they choose.
Great.
Every site audit or quality review ends with an exit meeting. The exit meeting is held on the final day of the site audit or quality review with the person in charge of the service or home service provider.
Is there any further information you'd like us to provide to you this afternoon?
I think we're just about finished. We'll be able to provide you a summary of our key issues shortly.
This is an opportunity to discuss key issues resulting from the audit or quality review. Within 7 days, the provider will be given a report by the Commission after the exit meeting. For residential care facilities, the report is known as a site audit report. For home services, the report is known as an interim quality review report. Both reports include recommendations against each standard and whether each requirement has been demonstrated adequately. Providers then have 14 days to respond to any of the information in the reports.
And there was a couple of other ones that I thought were pretty good. Some need some work. This one here. We need to respond to this one.
A final re-accreditation decision will take into account the audit report, any response to it, and any other relevant information. A home service provider's final quality review report will be received within 20 days of the interim report. This will take into account any responses to the interim report. But what happens if a service provider doesn't meet the standards?
Where a service provider doesn't meet the standards, the approach is the same for both home services and accredited services. The Aged Care Quality and Safety Commission will give the service provider clear information around the time frame which they have to make improvements so that the standards are complied with.
The Commission will establish a timetable for improvement for both residential and home care services if they fail to meet the standards. When non-compliance is identified, the Commission is also required to determine whether or not a consumer has been or may be placed at serious risk to their health, safety and well-being.
So it's about really responding to the risk of harm to consumers as well as promoting improvements.
To ensure service providers continue to meet the aged care quality standards, the Aged Care Quality and Safety Commission monitors the quality of care and services through assessment contacts. The Commissioner may also arrange for a review audit of an accredited service to be conducted in certain circumstances.
An assessment contact is usually a visit to a service, for example residential services. It's usually a limited scope to understand a problem or to understand something better.
An assessment contact can either be announced or unannounced.
It's different to a comprehensive audit or a quality review, and it's just a way of us keeping an eye on things to see if things are going well.
The aged care quality standards focus on outcomes for consumers. As a result, we can all have greater confidence in the quality of care across Australia. Services need to understand that the aged care quality standards can improve and influence culture and inform practice.
The Aged Care Quality Standards focus on outcomes for consumers. Meeting these standards is about working with consumers to provide safe and quality care and services that meet their needs and support them to live the life they choose.